everyone, my name is Jeff Iller. I'm with the Kitsap County Woodcarvers out of Port Orchard, Washington. And what I'm here to do today is to show you how to carve a little carving with simple tools. And what we're going to do is an acorn. This could be done at any scale. Of course, you just have to change the size of your tools. We're here, of course, at our 28th annual wood carving show in Bremerton. It's at the West Side Improvement Club on National Avenue and E Street each second weekend of March. The tools we're going to be using today are quite simple. We're going to be using a detail knife, which is a very fine pointed sharp knife with a long handle. You can obtain a detail knife from FlexCut off the internet, or you could find Drake knives online also for a tool such as mine. The material we're going to be working with is basswood. It comes in different shades depending on the season in which it's harvested, but in each case this is simply a piece that's 3/4 of an inch square and left long so that our hands will be kept safe while we're carving such a small object. And to start us off, what I've done is I've done some of the carving already, setting some stop cuts into my stick so that we have our length, and we've also started the carving to make the corners go away and make our blank round. Okay, so again, I'm using a small piece of basswood and simple tools, and we'll show you how to make a acorn. All right, and again, what we're going to do is we're going to use our detail knife, and we're going to remove that final corner just to show you how it's done. And with two hands on the knife, both thumbs working together in coordination to ensure my fingers and hands stay safe, I'm just going to peel that last corner off, creating a stick that's round at the end, so that I might begin my carving on my acorn. And again, my speeds might be a little faster than yours. Please don't try to keep up as you see me carve it on the video. Instead, focus on your own personal safety. If you're in wood carving to go fast, you probably got the wrong hobby. Again, we're just going to round the corners off this basswood stick, make our blank nice and round. And again, each time we remove a little bit of wood, we look at how it affects the whole of the carving, so that we don't carve one side without seeing the whole thing. And so we got now a rounded stick. Seems to be a little bit of a flat spot, so we just take the edges off of that in order to get the round blank. And then the next step is to take the edges off the top of the stick to create the curvature at the top of the acorn. We could do that quite simply by rotating the stick in our supporting hands and removing the corners. We could also do it with a draw cut by turning the stick over and keeping our thumb out of the way, taking the chip off by having the knife pass cleanly over our thumb so that our thumb stays safe. And what we do is we take smaller chips as we go in order to create a nice smooth curvature. And again, I'm going fairly quickly for the sake of the video. Make sure that you remain safe. You'll notice that as we go, we're taking the edge off and rounding up towards the top. Okay. So that we create the effect of the top of the acorn. And so, keep working at it. Takes lots of small cuts and therefore a little bit of time. And we keep rotating the stick. Now we do offer free carving lessons at the Sons of Norway in Paulsbo on Thursday evenings from 6 till approximately 8:30. We invite people of all ages and experience levels to join us. The one rule in the house is if I see something wrong and I say stop, you stop. Otherwise, we teach the students as quickly as they can learn it. We have a lot of fun and make some beautiful wood carvings. Okay, so I have the cap now rounded, and what we want to do now is we want to keep the curvature and work it back so that we leave the little nub at the top where it was once connected to the tree. So we'll continue to round, leaving the center. So we just keep rotating the stick, and as we round the top, we begin to roll the knife at the tip of my thumb here and peel the wood off so that it leaves a high spot in the center. And as we do that, of course, we just roll the curvature at the top of the acorn backwards. And you can see now we're getting a little nub in the center. and we recreate the round curvature at the top of the acorn. Just like that. And again, small chips, and looking at the whole thing and making sure that it looks smooth and natural. Any big chips will create a facet, and facets look out of place on such a small carving. Alright, so you begin to see how it's becoming round. It still looks a little angular, so some small chips to remove any angular surfaces on this thing. And we get the top of our acorn with the little nub. And of course we'll finish that in a second. Now what we want to do is we want to designate the bottom of the crown. And the way we'll do that is by putting a stop cut down a ways and working the stop cut all the way around the blank. And from there we do push cuts up to that line and make a little edge at the base of the crown. This might be hard to see for a second until I get all the way around the stick. And we work this around. And you begin to see how we get the little tiny edge of the crown here. And then from there we work down towards the base and begin to round the end of the acorn, the meat of the nut right here. And of course we want to leave it attached. We don't want to carve this off until we are very close to done, otherwise we'll lose our handle. Alright, so from here down we just take large draw cuts and stop cuts and remove quite a bit of the wood at the base of our stick here. And again, I'm going quickly. I recommend that you go as fast as you safely can here. And I'm using a draw cut. Again, I have both hands working together so that I don't get cut. And as the chips free themselves from the board, I use a stop cut at the bottom to separate the acorn from the handle. Now, at our carving classes on Thursday, we have hundreds of projects to choose from. Of course, we start out with knife safety and make sure that the student knows how to handle a knife safely. And once that is accomplished, they are free to choose from a number of simple blanks, such as the 2-minute owl, the Scotty dog, projects that are quickly rewarding so that they don't become frustrated by choosing something too difficult for their skill level. And then we work from there up in small degrees of difficulty until they can make just about anything they like. We start out by teaching a simple detail knife to start and how to work with wood grain. And then from there we work with other tools such as V-tools and gouges so that the student can move up in scale and create just about anything. Again, we're starting to see the curvature at the bottom of the acorn. And because I'm going quickly, I'm finding that it's looking very angular and faceted, so I have to slow down and take smaller chips as I go so that everything looks proportioned without large chips making flat surfaces anywhere on something that's naturally round. And again, as I go, I look at the whole thing. I see that the crown is not deep enough, so I have to cut in at the base of the crown again. And I can now refine my carving The rough out is done. Now I work on the finer points called the detail. I go around the carving and I find out what needs work. As you can see, I have the crown here. I have the nut itself at the base. And now I've got to give it a sense of proportion and finish. So I put the little cuts at the top to create the attachment point for the nut to the tree. I work from one end to the other so that I keep my proportion. I can move things in scale and form as I need to. And here you begin to see the stem right here. And the crown will get rounded some more. Now I've been doing this for probably 20 years already, and I've done some 1,500 carvings, and with a little patience and good safety, I have all my fingers, and having carved probably every day for years now, I have no cuts. It can be done safely if you get proper lessons and you're attentive to what you're doing. Anybody can carve. We have students who have started with us at 8 years of age and have come back to us at 18 years of age and can pick up the hobby and continue on from where they once attended classes as if they were never gone. The skill remains. So it's very rewarding. It's something you can do with simple tools. I usually carry a knife in my pocket and a small piece of wood in the form of a blank so that I always have something to do no matter where I go. And there's good camaraderie. People get together to carve, they joke and laugh and have a lot of fun, sharing their talents and learn quite a bit from each other. So there's many reasons to learn wood carving. Now, you notice that we have what looks like a sharp edge at the base of the crown at the top of the acorn. That's not natural. It should be rolled over a little bit so that it's not so angular and steep. So we'll go back and do that now. But sometimes it's the little things that make your carving work. And as you can see, as fast as I go, normally this will take me a couple seconds to get done. But it makes a world of difference. And then once I have the crown cut in, I still want to remove a little bit of the meat around here so that it's still in proportion now that I made a change. And I work backwards down the stick so that as I go, and as I change the shape and form of this carving, it's still accurate for scale. Okay, so now we have the crown, and now we just finish working on the curvature at the bottom. And again, it's probably going to be looking a little long here, and that is because the stick is attached, but as I round it and get closer to removing the finished carving from the stick, it will take on its final form here. So again, our Kitsap County Woodcarver Show is in the second weekend of March. Normally advertised in the newspapers, and there's signs all around the building. It's at National Avenue and East Street in West Bremerton. Admission is free. We have a fundraising raffle. We have 150 carvings usually. You can come in and meet people, ask questions, buy tools and supplies. We invite you to come and check us out. You'd be surprised at what people make. And a couple more cuts here. And we're getting closer to finished. Yeah. So we keep rotating the stick and removing little bits of wood. Of course, you can sand it. I prefer that we get all the effects we want from the knife. And of course, we can make this in any scale, such as the top of a newel post on a staircase. We could use larger tools, but the technique remains the same. And of course, we just make sure that it's smooth to the touch, and that if we were to give it as a gift, it would be free of tool marks, and it would look finished. Okay, so I probably don't want to carve much more because I'm going to remove it soon from the stick, and I don't want to do that here. As you can see, we've got a small acorn, and it only took us probably 15 minutes. Again, we use simple tools, basswood, and again, these are simple carvings. We can make anything we like with the same techniques. So I thank you for watching. I invite you to come out and check out our show, and of course look us up in the Sons of Norway in Paulsville Thursday evenings at 6 o'clock. Thank you.